folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and welcome to my Best of Publishers series. And today we're taking a look at a company called Haba. Now, you would know immediately if there was many Haba games behind me. There's not. Most of my Haba games are at home. But you would know because when you go to the department stores in Germany, there is a big section of Haba games, and they're mostly yellow. Now, they have changed that in recent years. There's a few pink and green and blue games, and they've also started a line of family games. This just started last year, but was released to critical acclaim. In fact, one of these games, or actually it was released 2 years ago, one of these games that they released was even nominated for the Spiel des Jahres, the most prestigious award in Germany. That's a big deal. This company has been well known for their children's games, and now moving into the family games makes them a formidable force. Now, their children's games are really second to none. When someone comes to me and goes, I have some kids and I don't know what games to buy for them, I'll say, go check out Haba. You can buy pretty much any game from Haba and it's probably going to work. Now, not every game works from Haba, but for the most part they're good, and they range from 2 all the way up to the teen years with all sorts of games. And even some of their children's games are incredibly fun for adults to play. Here are my 10 favorite Haba games. Number 10 is Klondike. Now, Klondike is a really big game. I mean, the box is huge because it comes with a big tray. And on this tray, you have marbles. And these marbles are yellow marbles and gray marbles and black marbles. And you're trying to get the yellow marbles. You're panning for gold. And so you're like rolling these marbles around a tray, trying to knock off the gold ones without having the chaff or the rocks fall off. And it's really hard, and it's very thematic, and it's very fun. It's kind of a one-shot deal type thing, but I found it very enjoyable. That is Klondike. Number 9 is Suitcase Detectives. I really like Suitcase Detectives. It involves a suitcase, and you're sliding things in there, and you see the silhouettes of these things, and then trying to figure out for kids and solve something. It's a really nifty device. Many of the Haba games have a device, from a tower to blocks that fall over to whatever, but it works especially for kids. Number 8 is Logic Labyrinth. Logic Labyrinth is a great game. It's like a tile placement game or a card placement game, as kids are trying to put these cards that they have down in a specific pattern, but making sure the sides of them connect. And that's not as easy as it is. So you get these cards and you're figuring out the best way to put them together. So it's like a mini puzzle for kids, but it's also a very small, portable game. Highly recommend it, Logic Labyrinth. Hey, Future Tom here. For some reason, when I recorded this list, I forgot to put in my number 7, but it's so important. I want to get it in here now, and that's the Rolling Gang. Now, what I like about the Rolling Gang, and I don't have the box on me here because it's out right now, but the Rolling Gang has a box, and in this box, you have this marble, and you put these magnetic pieces, and you are rolling around in the lid of this box, trying to get this marble between the legs of different animals there. It is so entertaining. It's fun. Someone else will say, all right, pig. And you're like, all right, where's the pig? Got to go through the pig. Sheep. All right, got to go through the sheep. And you see how many you can go through in a certain amount of time. So entertaining. A lot of fun for both kids and adults. All right, back to past me. Number 6 is Dancing Eggs. Now, Dancing Eggs is the game that people always ask when in some of the pictures of my shelves, people say you have a carton of eggs there. Why? Dancing Eggs has a bunch of rubber eggs and one wooden egg. And in this game, you roll a die and it will tell you what to do, and you might have to grab the egg, you might have to do something else, you might have to run around the table. Silliness. But whoever succeeds has to take the egg, roll a die, and then they have to stick that egg maybe in the crook here of their arm, or maybe they have to have it underneath their chin, or wherever, and then they have to play the rest of the game like that, and if they drop the egg, they lose it. Crazy fun. Now, you need an area where you can run around a little bit, and it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but I have so much fun playing Dancing Eggs. I love it. Number 5 is Karuba. This is the one that was nominated for the Spiel des Jahres. In Karuba, everyone is going to be getting the same tile. It's one of those games where you draw a tile, everyone else will find that same tile, and you place it on your board, trying to build paths to move your adventurers there. Not necessarily an interactive game, except, trying to get somewhere before other people. But it's intriguing because everyone has the same options, but as you look at each person's board, they're going to be dramatically different. Very, very popular game, and I like it. Karuba. Number 4 is Spookies. This is also in the family line of games, and this is where you roll dice and kind of push your luck. How far into this mansion do you want to go to hunt down ghosts? I love push your luck games. This is a very simple one. Roll dice. Do I want to keep going? Oh, yes, I do. Spookies. Number 3 is Animal Upon Animal. We're back with the kids games. And kids games, when someone says to me, I got little kids, what should I get them? Animal Upon Animal is almost always one of the first choices. Now, there is lots of versions of Animals Upon Animals, and the great thing is they can be combined. And essentially, it's just a dexterity game, stacking animals up, trying not to make them fall. But it's fun. I mean, that's all the game is, but the animals are great shapes, the way that they're built, they can be stacked together in weird ways. Kids have fun, it's chunky, they can just play with the blocks outside the game, which my son does constantly, or you can sit there and try and build the game. It works well for small kids, just build and watch it fall. As older kids, even for adults, so sit around and try and figure it out. An adult can play against a kid because their little fingers are probably better than yours. So great. So many times I've recommended this game, and I will continue to do so. Animal Upon Animal. Number 2 is another dexterity game from Haba, Rhino Hero. In fact, the new version of Rhino Hero is right around the corner. I was able to look at it briefly at Dice Tower Con. Looks fantastic. But in Rhino Hero, you have cards and a Rhino Hero. In fact, it's a dexterity game, but these cards are bent. You actually have to fold the cards in the game. And you are slowly building up this tower, and every once in a while you have to move the Rhino Hero, the Rhino Superhero, to the top without making it fall. And the cards are going to be put on in different ways. And that's it. It's a house of cards, but the cards are bent, and you stack them. And again, this kind of stacking game without making things fall over is so much fun. They have a giant Rhino Hero game, which is like very rare. There's only some from Japan. People go crazy for these things. I want to get a copy myself. But these are a lot of fun to have at conventions, but also just to play with your family. Great game, Rhino Hero. And my favorite Haba games is actually one of my favorite games, period, and that is Adventureland. Adventureland, and now even as an expansion, it's a very simple game. There's a grid out there, and on your turn, you're going to draw 2 cards and place items in the grid. And then you can move some of your adventurers on this grid. You can move as far as you want to the left and as far as you want down, but they can never go in the other direction. So you might want to shoot very far to get the items you want, or you can go very slowly, but you might not get the things that you want. And what's really cool is in the original game, it comes with several scenarios. I think there's 3 or 4 in the original game, and then the expansion adds more, and each one feels like a different game. One is area control, one is just collect things. There's fog monsters that show up around the board, then you go and fight them with dice and the different items that you've collected, and it's just so great. It's simple, it's a game you talk about, turns go quickly, you flip things over, sometimes you go to a spot and hope that card gets flipped, but maybe it never will. You know, how much stuff do you want to collect before you go fight the fog monsters? Really great game. I've played this one quite a bit. Really enjoy it. Adventureland. Those are my favorite Haba games. Seriously, Haba has well over 100 games, I think, in their lineup. There are so many games for all different ages, so I'm sure some of you also have great games from Haba that you'd like to mention in the comments. Go ahead and do that. All right, well, like I said, they're great for kids, but now they're also fantastic for family. You really can't go wrong when you check them out. I'm Tom Vasel. This has been Best of Publishers, Haba.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.